the reality is that most agents are not doing marketing. They're listing the home in the MLS and they're printing flyers off and they're doing open houses. That's not marketing, you guys. Like that is not aggressively and proactively putting the home in front of people.
Right.
Right. But unfortunately, that's the plan that most agents have. We always joke about putting a sign in the yard. I think Damon Gutierrez is the first one that told us this.
Yep.
Sign in the yard,
saying a prayer.
Box on the house, and they pray.
Saying a prayer.
Yeah. But that's just not doing your client any service or any favors at all. Welcome to the Growth Drivers Podcast, the show where we break down the leadership frameworks, mindset shifts, and strategies that fuel entrepreneurial success, personal transformation, and business breakthroughs.
I'm Rachel Novak.
And I'm Mike Novak.
Let's dive in and start driving your growth.
Episode number 41, the 3 things that make or break your listing in 2025 and I would even say in 2026 at this point, as it's middle to end of November, and we're having lots of conversations with sellers right now about listing in 2026 and setting the stage for that. So today's topic is going to be super relevant to our agent friends and our network at Real, and then also to sellers. These are expectations that you should be having with your agent, and I think you'll be better informed to have conversations of more depth with your real estate agent and be able to ask better questions after today's podcast. I think that's realistic, Rachel?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think this is very tactical, and honestly, when we talk about where real estate has evolved and kind of morphed over the last 10, 20 years, these things are non-negotiables when it comes to really actually getting top dollar. Will houses sell in some markets without these things? Sure. Will they sell for absolute top dollar? No, probably not.
No, they definitely won't. And the days of just throwing it on the market in 2020 and 2021, those are long gone. I talk to agents all across the country, and the days on market have gone up drastically everywhere. Lots more inventory. You really need to think about how to have a competitive advantage on making your listing stand out from the competition to be the obvious choice to buyers, right?
Exactly.
And we've talked a lot about price, and we're not going to really go into price today, but price is super important. You can't outmarket the wrong price. We always tell people that, so that's one of the most important things. We got a whole YouTube video about how to price your home right here, right now in this market. So go watch that if you want some insights in that. But ultimately, if you get the price wrong, none of the rest of this matters.
Right.
But if you get the price right in conjunction with all these other details, then really interesting things happen. Just in the last couple of weeks, I'll share a couple wins from our team. Chuck from our team, shout out to Chuck. He sold a listing for $105,000 over list price. I think he had 10 plus offers on it. It was insane. I sold one for $25,000 over list price and 7 offers. So we're still getting multiple offers in certain situations. But when we get a reaction from the market like that, it means that we've nailed the price, the position, and the presentation.
Exactly.
That. So we really have 3 different dynamics that we have to think about. And we can't understate the value of pricing. It's super important.
Right. Obviously.
So,
but yeah.
Okay. But let's jump into it. The first one, staging or virtual staging. National Association of Realtors, love them or hate them. They have lots of data. They do lots of studies. And the data from NAR shows that staged homes sell for about 4% more money.
Think about that.
That's a huge difference.
4% more. That more than pays for your listing side commission likely.
Right. And we coach all of our clients to do some form of staging. What we ultimately advise them to do is unique to their situation, depending on whether the home's vacant, whether if it's being lived in, whatever else. There's a lot of variables that we look at, but sometimes we will do full staging. Sometimes we'll do just soft staging based on what's already there.
And for those who may not be familiar, so when we say things like soft staging or heart of home staging, soft staging is when we're utilizing the client's furniture, they're still living there, and we are just helping them optimize the location of the furniture, the layout of each room, and then we may bring in textiles like white comforters put over their comforters, extra pillows on the couches, extra plants around the home to kind of spruce up the greenery, that kind of thing. That's what we called soft staging. For a heart of home stage, that would be like a vacant home that we hire a professional stager coming in, bringing all the furniture for a primary suite, dining room, kitchen, and living room, and as well as the bathrooms. And then a virtual stage is typically also done on vacant homes or vacant rooms, where there's literally just graphic design furniture placed on the photos so that the marketing of the photos online looks staged.
Right. And I think vacant homes at a bare minimum need that virtual staging.
Absolutely.
When you look at marketing photos online and you see empty rooms, it just feels really cold and you're not really sure, like, what do I do with the space?
That's exactly right.
So it doesn't cost a lot of money to do that. It just requires working with a marketing partner that has capabilities to do so.
Well, because let's think about this, right? Like at the base of decisions for buyers is the emotion, right? You're trying to attach the emotion of what they're looking for to that home, to that property. And when a buyer is looking through listings and they see a home that looks like a beautiful home, I actually know several on the market right now, new construction or big, beautiful new homes or cosmetic remodels, that the pictures online, they have no furniture in them. They feel very cold. You're looking at this photo and you see 2 walls and some flooring. You don't know if it's the corner of a living room. You don't know if it's a dining area. You don't know if it's a den. You don't know what it is. And so what staging, even virtual staging, does is it gives identity and depth to every single one of those pictures and every single one of those rooms, so a buyer can actually connect and start picturing themselves living in that room. That's what the point of this marketing is.
Absolutely, yeah. As far as like the strategy in the current market, I think it's a little different than it was when the days on market were a lot less. As the agent, you don't want to be in a position where you've paid to stage this house and then you have staging renewals coming up every month, so maybe think about whether the client pays for staging, whether you pay for like the initial staging, they pay for the monthly, some kind of hybrid mix of that. But the last thing you want to do is kind of have an open checkbook for staging where the home can be on the market for 6 months and every month you're getting hit with like another $1,200 bill. That'll quickly make your listing very unprofitable.
Absolutely. And like there's ways to navigate that. So, you can set expectations with the seller, or as a seller, you can understand that most staging companies, if they do bring furniture in, the staging contract is going to last 30, 45, at the longest I've ever seen one is 60 days. And so you can just kind of either as an agent, you can set the expectation with your seller, hey, I am going to cover it for the first initial term, whether that's 30, 45, or 60 days. And then if the seller wants the option to cover the renewals, okay, or just have that expectation set, hey, after this time, it's not going to be staged anymore, but we will, of course, still maintain the photos of the staged property online.
Yeah, and then explain why you don't stage secondary bedrooms too, just so sellers understand that. I do recommend doing virtual staging on secondary bedrooms still, but I think that it's unnecessary to hard stage them.
Correct.
So, we are all about case studies, like using practical examples for you. And so a case study where we did this, I took over an expired listing in Lake Stevens. It had been listed with 3 different agents when I got it. And the guy called me. It had been on the market for 125 days. The glaring, like, obvious miss on the marketing was it was super cold and it was vacant, right? Like, it was just empty. When you walked in there, it was just like, oh man, I just want to leave because it's freezing cold. Thermostat's turned off. You've mistake. And it doesn't feel like a home. It feels like a house. You know what I mean? And staging is really that thing that warms it up. So we staged it. We had it sold in 3 weeks.
Also, turn the thermostat up. So buyers wanted to stay in there. Yeah. It was warm.
I called the seller who had moved out. He was like, man, if you want to sell this house, you have to turn the heat on. So pro tip to all of you sellers out there, don't turn the heat off when you list your house.
Exactly right. So that's when it comes to staging. So number 1, top 3 things is staging or virtual staging for the property. Okay. Number 2, your photography needs to be next level. Gone are the days that you can have, your sister-in-law who is just getting into photography, use her Canon camera and take some photos. Gone are the days that you can take, even probably yourself, professional, quote unquote, photos with a nice camera, but especially anybody who's ever taken photos with an iPhone or God forbid, a flip phone photos, right?
The iPhone one is the one that I see a lot because iPhones take nice photos. They don't take nice home photos.
Correct. So there's a couple of things that are involved with the photography. Number one, obviously, it needs to be a real estate professional photographer. Like, yes, and we're talking several $100s for this person to come out and photograph the property. But they are the ones who have already invested in the correct flashes and the correct lenses and the correct exposures. They get like those 5-frame exposures so that you can see in each photo not just the interior of the home, but that you can see outside of the window. If you notice with really cheap cameras, they'll take a decent picture of the inside, kind of, but then it will be all glary on the window. You won't be able to see outside. And real estate professional photographers have the photos or the cameras and the lenses to be able to capture all of that, because you need that depth as part of the photos. Number two, you absolutely need to have aerial photography, especially on properties with nice backyards or great lots or in a great vicinity to amenities. People want to see in real time, not just Google Earth, not just, Google Street View. They want to see in real time in the listing where the home is, what the yard is like, what it looks like from the top. That's totally a must-have. We've been doing that for years and years.
Why is like the person that does like family photos not the person to use for real estate photography?
It's simply not the same exposure, right? When you are having a professional real estate photographer take real estate photos, there is a particular angle and height that the camera should be to get the right photos. You'll see some newer real estate photographers who may charge a lot and may consider themselves professional. And if you look at the photo, if their camera is too low, you will notice that you are seeing half of the photo be like the countertop in the kitchen, and then the top half of the photo is the kitchen. Or in a bedroom, you'll see, okay, I can see all of this bed, and then I can see the window and the top of the photo. Like, these little things matter. The presentation of these photos, the presentation of the property matters. What you want to look for in professional real estate photography is that the camera is just at about eye level of where you would actually be standing in the home.
Yeah,
right?
So where your eyes are at.
Yes. So if you are walking through a property, you're not down below. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see I'm ducking down below where you can see all the countertops at eye level. You're looking at the cabinets. You're looking out the windows. You're seeing the tops of the furniture. This is an important viewpoint that good real estate photographers can capture in those photos.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so case study on this one, really recent one for you. Just last month, I had some clients. They called me. They had listed their home with Redfin. Not going to say
no shade, but here
you
we go.
What you pay for. Anyways, it was on the market for 80 days. They have done price reductions, nothing, totally stagnant. We took it over. We virtually staged this one. We did not physically stage it, even though it was empty. We really stepped it up on the photography, and the photography allowed us to sell it for full price in 4 days.
That's huge. Yeah. Huge for those clients. Absolutely.
It's a totally different presentation of the market than what it was.
Yep. One bonus when it comes to photography and including, as much information and beautification in the listing as possible is putting a floor plan in. And now we've been doing this for 5 or 6 years. There was literally a time when the market was moving so quickly, but by the time we got the floor plan back digitally and uploaded it into the listing the day, it was like we're pending it the next day, right? But this is incredibly important, especially in today's market when buyers are uncertain, buyers have a lot of options. If they are constantly, you know that they're going to go back and look at the same listing 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 20 times, even after they've looked at it before they make a decision of whether or not to offer. And if you have a floor plan in yours, they can literally look at that floor plan, stare at it, and confirm that that layout is what they want, right? They're going to be walking through that home and imagining their daughter in that bedroom and imagining their couch in that corner of the living room or whatever else. That's a really important part of the listing as well that we've implemented for a long time.
Yeah, no, great point. All right, the third one is your marketing. And so the reality is that most agents are not doing marketing. They're listing the home in the MLS and they're printing flyers off and they're doing open houses. That's not marketing, you guys. Like that is not aggressively and proactively putting the home in front of people.
Right.
But unfortunately, that's the plan that most agents have. we always joke about putting a sign in the yard. I think Damon Gutierrez is the first one that told us this.
Yep.
Sign in the yard,
saying a prayer.
box on the house, and they pray.
Saying a prayer.
Yeah. But that's just not doing your client any service or any favors at all.
Well, and it's also not differentiating you, as an agent to be any different than anybody else in the market.
Right. Yeah. And so we call it proactive versus reactive marketing. Reactive would just be putting the MLS and waiting for a buyer agent to bring a buyer along. That is what, unfortunately, 95% of real estate agents do on top of open houses. For us, ours is all digital. So about 95% of home buyers find the home they're going to buy online. And so ours is very digital focused. We build every single client their own dedicated website. The URL is the address of their home typically. And then that website becomes the landing page for all the paid, emphasis on paid traffic we send to their site. Organic placement on social media for listings is dead.
It's not going to go anywhere.
Agents, if you think posting the house on your personal Facebook page is marketing the listing, I have a wake-up call for you. No one's going to freaking see it, and no one cares it's going to see it.
No, that's not totally true. Your grandma or your aunt or your friends may see it, maybe, depending on their algorithm, but no actual buyers who are in their buying cycle who would be interested in that type of property are going to see that when you post it on your personal Facebook page.
Correct. We're in a pay-to-play environment. The reach of organic social media is really gone down over the last 7 years. So you have to pay if you want to get in front of people. So we do Instagram, we do Facebook, we do YouTube, and we get our listings in front of tens of thousands of eyeballs that are passively looking for homes, right?
Exactly.
Like they might not be consciously out there typing into the MLS a home search. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But if they see the right thing, maybe they're interested.
Absolutely.
Right? And we know that there's kind of a formula that the more people that see the home digitally translates into more showings. The more showings translates into more offers or a quicker sale.
Exactly. And again, there has to be an alignment between the price and the perception of value that buyers have in any market, right? So if they're seeing this home and they're like, "Oh man, this is that's really cute. I'm really interested in that," and the price is $100K over what they would expect or what any buyer in any market would expect, you're going to continue to get a significant amount of clicks and no showings.
Right. And the interesting thing about that is there's a lot of people that aren't actually actively looking for a home to buy. But if the right thing comes along, they're a buyer.
Yes, exactly. How many people have we literally had be like, well,
no, they're like, I need to get pre-approved my house right now. Like, I want that house. Like,
yeah.
It's like this emotional feeling like I got to do this right now. You know, it's crazy when it happens, but it happens all the time.
Well, and again, playing back into why the staging, why the great photography is important on these listings when you're marketing them, because you're trying to appeal to the emotion of those buyers who would move for the right house.
Right, exactly. And we always tell our clients, the first showing happens online. So this is kind of a culmination of all these things working synergistically together. The staging is coming together, the soft staging, the every room presentation, and then of course the photography and the videography that you put together, the drone shots, those all come together onto that website to make the home really shine digitally, which entices people to come out and see it in person.
Exactly.
So, and then one other thing we didn't mention on the floor plan, just to highlight, the floor plan does definitely turn off some people. There's some people that it's going to say, hey, I that house wouldn't work for me. But that's actually one of the reasons we like to do is to disqualify buyers where the floor plan is just not a fit. Like maybe they can't do stairs. They didn't realize there's, all the bedrooms are upstairs or something like that. It qualifies the showings to a higher degree than if you don't see a floor plan, right?
Exactly.
So you might get less showings, but the showings you get are going to be more qualified because they've already vetted out the floor plan.
Exactly.
And then pro tip for your agent friends, again, like don't put your floor plan on the last photo of the listing. Put it on the second or third photo because no buyer clicks to the end of the listing.
40 photos to get through.
See it, okay?
Exactly.
And if you don't think floor plans work, go look at what every builder does in their marketing. They all have floor plans. They do it for reasons because it's what every buyer wants to see.
Every single new construction listing has a floor plan.
Right.
Exactly.
So we didn't talk about Matterports. What's your thoughts on Matterports?
So that's been a really interesting one because Matterport I really liked long ago. Like it for whatever reason, it really hit. People really enjoyed walking through it digitally before going and seeing it in person. But in a climate where there is so much uncertainty anyways, and in any market, but especially this type of market, buyers walk into properties looking for reasons not to like the home. right? Literally, that's their mindset, whether it's subconscious or not, that's their mindset. And so what happens when you upload a Matterport, while it's cool marketing for the seller, and as a seller, it feels really good, and even as a listing agent, it may feel really like, look at all this marketing I'm doing as Matterport, but let's think about it from the perspective and the viewpoint of a buyer. If I'm a buyer and I'm already skeptical and I'm already uncertain, and I go digitally and virtually walk through that property, I will have considered and felt like I've walked through it. And if I'm walking through it virtually and I see one little thing that I don't think that I like very much, I'm going to count that listing out. Okay.
Right.
Whereas that exact same buyer who, okay, this floor plan could work because I can see the floor plan. The pictures look good. It looks like it's in good condition, decent, perfect location, all this stuff. And then they physically go walk through it. There is a much different feeling and emotion that they experience walking through that property. And that one little thing, whether it's the color of the countertops or that's the location of the fireplace or whatever little thing that they may have seen and discounted the house virtually, walking through it in person and getting that feeling and feeling the walls around them, that could be a no big deal all of a sudden. And now they like the home, right? So in my opinion, Matterport is going to push away more buyers that actually could be qualified buyers for that property, more so than they do a great job marketing the property.
Yeah, to me, the marketing, it's really designed to invoke interest and curiosity,
right?
Which then triggers a showing.
Right.
And like you said, if people see Matterports, they often feel like they've already seen the home.
Exactly.
And it's very difficult. It's not impossible. It's very difficult to trigger an emotional reaction from someone off of a screen.
It's almost completely impossible.
Like you have to go in and feel it, like you're saying. Yep. It's exactly right. Like you can't feel it until you actually go see it in person. So that's why we don't believe in doing it. Some agents do it. If it works for you, that's awesome. But we did test this like 20 or 30 times.
We did dozens and dozens of them.
And yeah, it used to be a part of our process like 6 years ago, and it's just not anymore for these reasons. So
yeah, well, and part of, and we've talked a lot about the buyer consultation and setting the expectations. And the expectation that we set with buyers is that we want them to fall in love with the home. And it would be like online dating and never meeting anybody in person. And it's expecting you're going to fall in love with somebody online without ever meeting them. Like, it's impossible. So if the goal is to get a buyer to fall in love with the home or find the home they're going to fall in love with, you have to get them to walk through it.
Yeah,
period.
100%. Awesome. Well, so there's 3 really great things: staging, the photography, and the marketing. You got to have a plan for each one of those things. And as a seller, you need to make sure you're asking the right questions to your agent to make sure they have a plan for those things.
Exactly.
So you've got some due diligence to do on the agent you choose to work with. And it's totally fair game to ask questions about these 3 things and a lot more things too, like experience, negotiating, and things like that. So that's what we've got for you this week. Next week, we'll be back again. It's going to be Thanksgiving week, but we're still recording. So we will hit you again next week. And if you're buying or selling in our market, definitely reach out to us right here in Snohomish County. Rachel and I would love to help you guys. And if you're an agent across the country or up in Canada and you're curious about real brokerage, reach out to us. We went to real brokerage in 2021. It is one of the best business decisions we've ever made.
Yeah, 4 years.
Love to chat with you about why we went there and possibly mentor you on your move over to real as well.
Absolutely. See you next time, guys.
Bye.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Growth Drivers.
If you found value in this conversation, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this with a fellow entrepreneur.
For more insights, tools, and resources, visit us at thewarrioragent.com.
Keep pushing forward, keep leading with purpose, and we'll see you next time.